Hello student, hope you are doing well. The next topic of our hypergeometric function is Gauss theorem. This is the result which we will derive from integral representation of hypergeometric function that we have already done. So this is the result of integral representation. We will use this to find this value which is called Gauss theorem. So what is the difference between these two? We will have x is equal to 1 for Gauss theorem. So we will put x is equal to 1 in this expression and we can have this result. So here now you put x is equal to 1, we get f a b c 1 as gamma of c, gamma of b, gamma of c minus b as it is integral 0 to 1 t raised to power b minus 1 1 minus t raised to power c minus b minus 1, and here is the x which we put equal to 1, so it will remain 1 minus t raised to power minus a dt. So both these terms 1 minus t, so we will put c minus b integral 0 to 1 t raised to power b minus 1 1 minus t raised to power c minus b minus a minus 1 dt. So we combine their power, we get this thing which is integral 0 to 1 this t raised to power b minus 1 1 minus t raised to power c minus b minus a minus 1. So we will consider this as these two power as m and n, so this is beta mn function. So this is equal to, we can write gamma of c, gamma of b, gamma of c minus b as it is, and the integral is equal to beta b comma c minus b minus a. Now beta function can be written in terms of gamma function. So what we will do now, which will be equal to, next is here we write the equal to gamma of c, gamma of b, gamma of c minus b as it is. Now the value of beta of this, it will be gamma of b, gamma of c minus b minus a, and denominator sum of these two b plus c minus b minus a. B cancel will be and gamma of b cancel with gamma of b. So what is left is gamma of c, gamma of c minus b minus a, and gamma of c minus b into gamma of c minus a, which equal to the right hand side. We can see this is same as this term, so we get the result. So this is Gauss theorem, where we use the integral representation of hypergeometric function, put x is equal to 1 and simplify this, become beta function, and beta can be converted in terms of gamma function, so that will give us the required result. So here is the next theorem, Vandermonde's theorem, which is f of minus n comma b comma c 1 is equal to c minus b Pochhammer symbol n and c Pochhammer symbol n. So to prove this result, we will use the previous result of Gauss theorem that we have already done. F of a b c 1 is nothing but it can be represented in term of gamma function of gamma of c minus b minus a upon gamma of c minus a, gamma of c minus b. So now we have to derive this result from this. So what is the similarity? Here it is 1 c b, these three things are same, but in place of a we have minus n. So what we have to do, we have to put a is equal to minus n in Gauss theorem. So we will get f minus n b c1 is equal to, if you put minus n here in place of a, it will plus here, and similarly c plus n gamma of c minus b. So these two terms which contain n, we have to expand these, rest we will keep the same. These two terms are kept same. Now we expand this. This we expand using the formula of gamma function. So we know that gamma function, like gamma of n, if it is, then it is n minus 1, n minus 2, and so on, 3, 2, 1, like this, if there n is an integer. So similarly we expand this. So we'll have c minus b plus n minus 1. We will start from 1 less than this number into c minus b plus n minus 2, and so on. So we go on decreasing this n minus 1, n minus 2. At some place it will become n minus n, which will become 0. So we will have this term c minus b up to c minus b, and rest of the terms can be written as gamma of c minus b. Right? In the denominator also we have to expand this term. So we will write c plus n minus 1 from c plus n minus 1 we will start, and then c plus n minus 2, and so on. At some place it will be n minus n, which will become 0, up to c will expand, and the rest of the term will become gamma of c. So you can see gamma of c cancelled, gamma of c minus b also cancelled here. The rest of the term we write in the reverse order, c minus b. Then because we have decreased in this way, if we write from the reverse order from the end side, so it will be increased, c minus b plus 1, and so on. It will be c minus b plus n minus 1 up to this. Similarly we write the denominator term in the reverse order. To c plus 1, c plus 2, and so on, c plus n minus 1. So we go on adding with this number here, c minus b up to n minus 1, so it is Pochhammer symbol of c minus b. Similarly in the denominator we start from c plus 1, we are going to add 1, 1 up to n minus 1. So it is gamma of Pochhammer symbol Cn. So this is what we need to prove, and that is we had proved, that is equal to right hand side. So this proves the result of Vandermonde theorem. Next theorem in our way is Crummers theorem, for which we have to prove this result, f of a b minus a plus 1 minus 1 is equal to this thing. So to prove this, again we will use the integral formula, which is this, which we have already done. What we have to do, we have to compare these two. So a is a, b is b, but in place of c we have b minus a plus 1. So we will put c is equal to b minus a plus 1. And in place of x we have minus 1. So these are the two transformations that we will remember and put in our function. So what will be this? In place of c we are going to put b minus a plus 1. B is same, and again here in place of c b minus a plus 1 minus b. In the integral, t raised to power b minus 1 as it is 1 minus t raised to power. In place of c we are to put b minus a plus 1 minus b minus 1 as it is. And here also 1 minus, in place of x we need to put minus 1, so it will become plus t raised to power minus a dt. Right, now you can see b minus b cancel, 1 minus 1 cancel, so it will remain b minus a plus 1 in the numerator, and in the denominator gamma of b and b cancel with b, it will become 1 plus 1 minus a here. So this integral 0 to 1 t raised to power b minus 1 and these two terms t minus a 1 minus t and 1 plus t raised to power minus a, both these have same power, so they will be multiplied. So 1 minus t square raised to power minus a dt. Now in this integral we will put t square is equal to some function, let it be u, then 2t dt will be du. So our question will become, it will be b minus a plus 1 upon gamma b gamma 1 minus a integral 0 to 1. In place of t we are going to put u. So if t square is u, it means t is u raised to power 1 by 2. So it is u raised to power 1 by 2. So it will be this. Similarly 1 minus t square is u raised to power minus a, and in place of dt will be du upon 2t, and t is u raised to power 1 by 2. So this is what we get from here. Now we have to simplify this. Simplify the power of u. Power of u will be combined here, so we will use it. So now we will do it here. So we have already b minus a plus 1 upon gamma b gamma 1 minus a, and the rest of the terms are u raised to power b minus 1 upon 2 minus 1 by 2. So it will be b minus 1 upon 2 minus 1 by 2. Similarly 1 minus u raised to power minus a du. Right, and this 2 in the denominator we can write it here outside the integral. So now what we are left with, this term is same, gamma b is same, gamma 1 minus a, and integral 0 to 1. Now we need to write what are we left with. U raised to power, if we combine these powers, you can see it will be b minus 2. So, or you can write b upon 2 minus 1. Actually we combine this, minus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 will become minus 1. Similarly 1 minus u, it is, if we add and subtract 1, so we can write it in this way. Why we are writing this? Because we have to convert this into beta function, because the value of the beta function. So for we write it this integral as u raised to power b by 2 minus 1 and 1 minus a minus 1, so that we can compare this with the standard form of beta function, where the power is always m minus 1 and n minus 1. So here we have m as b by 2 and n as 1 minus a. So we write it as in terms of a beta function, and beta function then written in terms of gamma product. This is the formula that we are going to use it here, and we write, and this cancel with these two terms, and now what is left is this. Now what we do, we multiply both numerator and denominator by b. We multiply by b and we take this 2 in the numerator. So we write it as b by 2 into gamma of b by 2, because we have one result, n into gamma of n is already, we know that is gamma of n plus 1. We use this result here. So b by 2 into gamma of b by 2 is gamma of b by 2 plus 1, and b into gamma of b is gamma of b plus 1. Other two terms remain same. So this is the result of Cramer's theorem.